Picture yourself standing in a line that stretches for blocks, the sun beating down, your stomach aching with hunger. You're surrounded by hundreds, maybe thousands of others, men, women, children, the elderly, all waiting for the same thing. A chance at a meal, a bag of flour, a little rice, maybe a can of beans. The air is thick with anxiety and exhaustion. You can hear the low murmur of voices, the shuffling of tired feet, the occasional cry of a child. You're not just waiting for food, you're waiting for hope, for survival. But in Gaza, even this simple act, waiting for aid, has become a matter of life and death. Imagine knowing as you stand there that you might not make it home, that the line you're in could be targeted at any moment, that the people next to you, your neighbors, your friends, your family, could be caught in the crossfire or trampled in a desperate rush if panic breaks out. Every day, people in Gaza face this terrifying reality. They leave their homes not knowing if they'll return, driven by the most basic human need to feed themselves and their loved ones. Right now, Gaza is facing a crisis that's almost impossible to comprehend from the outside. The city, once bustling with life, is now scarred by war. Buildings lie in ruins, streets are filled with debris, and the sounds of conflict echo day and night. The infrastructure that once supported daily life, markets, bakeries, water systems, has been shattered. For many, there is no electricity, no clean water, and almost no food. The struggle to survive is relentless, and the threat of violence is everywhere. Thousands of families are trapped by war, forced from their homes, living in overcrowded shelters or makeshift tents. Parents do their best to comfort their children, to shield them from the horrors outside, but the fear is constant. Every day is a battle, not just against hunger, but against despair. The simple act of finding food has become a deadly gamble. For many, the only option is to risk everything and join the long lines at aid distribution points, hoping that today they'll be lucky enough to get something to eat. Since late May, nearly 1,400 Palestinians have been killed while trying to reach food aid. These are not just numbers. They are mothers, fathers, sons, daughters, even young children. Some were gunned down as they waited in line. Others were caught in the chaos of stampedes or struck by stray bullets as violence erupted around them. Their only crime was being hungry and hoping for relief. The ground at these aid sites is often littered with abandoned food packages, personal belongings left behind in the panic, and the haunting silence that follows tragedy. The United Nations reports that over 75% of Gazans are now food insecure. That means 3 out of every 4 people don't know where their next meal will come from. Markets that once bustled with activity now have empty shelves. Families search desperately for anything to eat, roots, wild greens, scraps of bread. Children go to bed hungry, their growth stunted, their futures uncertain. Malnutrition is spreading, and with it disease and suffering. People line up for hours, sometimes all day, hoping for a truck to arrive with rice or flour. The anticipation is palpable, but so is the fear. Too often, what should be a moment of relief turns into a scene of chaos and tragedy. Crowds surge forward, desperate to get their share before supplies run out. Aid workers struggle to maintain order, but the sheer scale of need is overwhelming. Sometimes the arrival of an aid truck is met not with joy, but with gunfire or panic, as people scramble to survive. In just the last week of July, more than 300 people were killed near aid sites. These were not soldiers or combatants, they were civilians, ordinary people whose only goal was to find food for their families. Emergency responders arrived to scenes of devastation, bodies covered with blankets, blood staining the ground, the cries of the wounded and the grieving echoing through the air. The violence is indiscriminate and the toll is staggering. Some people never even make it close to the food. They wait for hours only to be turned away when supplies run out or when violence erupts. The disappointment is etched on their faces, the hollow eyes of parents who must return home empty-handed, the tears of children who don't understand why there's nothing to eat. For many, this is a daily reality. The hope that brought them to the aid line is replaced by despair as they walk away. still hungry, still uncertain about tomorrow. Aid is stuck at borders, trapped by bureaucracy, politics and conflict. Convoys loaded with food and medicine wait for days, sometimes weeks at checkpoints like Rafah, unable to enter Gaza. The supplies are there, just out of reach, while people inside grow weaker and more desperate. International organizations plead for access, but the obstacles are immense. Every delay means more suffering, more lives at risk, and when trucks do get through, the situation can quickly spiral out of control. Crowds rush the vehicles, desperate to grab whatever they can before it's gone. In the chaos, people are sometimes attacked by gunmen or caught in deadly stampedes. The fear and desperation are palpable. Aid workers do their best to distribute supplies fairly, but the sheer scale of need makes it almost impossible. Every delivery is a race against time and against violence. The United Nations has called this a worst-case scenario. Starvation spreading rapidly, children dying from malnutrition, and no end in sight. Hospitals are filled with emaciated children, their bodies weakened by months of hunger. Parents watch helplessly as their sons and daughters waste away, unable to provide even the most basic nourishment. These aren't just statistics, they are real people with hopes and dreams whose lives are being destroyed by hunger and violence. Each loss is a shattered family, a life ended in the search for something as simple as bread. Funerals are a daily occurrence, with families mourning loved ones who died not in battle but in the act of trying to survive. The grief is overwhelming, the sense of injustice profound. For every person killed, there are countless others left behind. Parents, siblings, children, struggling to make sense of a world where hunger can be a death sentence. No one should have to risk their life for food. No child should go to bed hungry or wake up wondering if today will be the day they finally get something to eat. The people of Gaza are not asking for much, just the chance to live, to feed their families, to find safety and dignity in the midst of chaos. Their suffering is a tragedy that demands our attention, our compassion and our action. Please don't look away, share their story, let the world know what's happening. Because every voice raised in solidarity is a step toward hope, and every act of awareness brings us closer to a future where no one has to starve or die just to survive.